The Fingerpoke of Doom. Sounds like the worst porno ever. Let's go all the way back to the very first week of 1999. We're at like the peak of the Monday Night Wars between the WCW and WWF, and we're coming off one of the biggest things to ever happen in WCW. Goldberg lost. If you're not sure why that's a big deal, I invite you to go back and watch season 1, episode 1 of this series, because Goldberg, no, he's not an orthodontist, Goldberg, the big bad wrestler, was 173-0 and didn't lose a match until the last week of 1998 when Kevin Nash defeated him because Scott Hall cattle prodded him. It's another story. That's a whole long story. There's cattle prod. The Jewish man got electrocuted and lost the wrestling belt. And I'm sure he was pissed because Jews hate losing gold. So now that Bill Goldberg's lost and Kevin Nash is the champion, we jump to Monday Night Nitro, and Kevin Nash, the new champion, is the leader of the NWO Wolfpack. Now, the NWO was this group of wrestlers that sort of just became everyone. So their way of kind of thinning it out a bit more was to have two factions that also feuded with each other. It's getting very convoluted, I know. So there's the WCW, and then within that there's the NWO, and then the NWO splits into the NWO Wolfpack and the NWO Black and White Hollywood, led by Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So the two leaders of the two NWO factions, Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash, they don't get along, obviously. They're the leaders of either side, blood in the streets, may we fight forever. Now that Kevin Nash is the champion, they set up a match between Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan at the main event of Monday Night Nitro. Now before the match even starts, they already made a huge fuck up. So on the Raw channel, they had taped it in advance, and word came out that Mick Foley, Mankind, won the heavyweight championship on Raw, over on that side. So the WCW thought that they were being smart and pulling a fast one when they announced on their program that Mankind had won the title on the other program, thinking that they'd give away the results and everyone would watch their show as a result. But that's not what happened. What happened is, like, over 500,000 people went to check it out. Of course! If someone tells you, hey, there's a goat down by the river with 2 heads and he's singing reggae music, but you don't gotta go because I just told you, then they walk away, you're gonna take their word for it, or you're gonna go listen to that goat sing some Peter Tosh. So now that millions of people have jumped ship and aren't even watching anymore, the big main event of Nitro is the newly appointed champion Kevin Nash versus his rival Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And Hogan's dressed like, he's not in his wrestling clothes. He's wearing like a skin tight, like velour shirt maybe, and these like stupid baggy pants, some of the dumbest pants you've ever seen worn on a person. And they square off and the tension's building and they're looking eye to eye, sort of. And right when they're about to go to blows, Hulk Hogan pokes Kevin Nash in the chest, and Kevin Nash tumbles to the floor as though he was just hit with a brick. And then Hogan pins him for the 1, 2, 3, and Hogan's the champion again. And they kind of reunite and embrace, which you're supposed to dislike because they're the bad guys, but look, the men are happy and they're embracing. It's hard not to be happy for them. Who are you to hate on that? So Hogan pins Nash, and now Hogan's the champion. Hogan, I guess, just couldn't beat Goldberg, so he had Nash do it. In hindsight, why did Nash agree to that? That seems like a bad deal. If Nash could win the title, you would think that he would just be the champion. But for whatever reason, he wanted Hulk Hogan to be the champion. I mean, if we're led to believe that Hogan's leg is heavy enough that it crushes opponents and won him matches for 35 years, then it's not the largest stretch of the imagination that he has a really strong finger. So Hogan wins the title, Hogan's the champion again, they embrace, Goldberg got screwed, I guess, and that incident goes down as one of the main catalysts that like ended the WCW completely. They were winning the Monday Night Wars, and then at that point, like, just lost it forever. They shot themselves in the foot, they poked themselves in the chest, and that was it.